So most of us are focusing on the behavior, and what we need to know is who's the behavior.
In this video, I'm going to talk about what I believe, after 17 years in personal development and millions of dollars in business, what I believe is the single most important variable in personal development. I'm going to give you a distinction that I've not heard anybody talk about that is the key ingredient that will give your clients results, give anybody results in this industry, including you if you're trying to build a business based on personal development. So if you don't get this distinction and you don't implement it into your marketing and your messaging, into the entire essence of your work, you can't succeed.
In this video, I'm going to identify what I think is the single most important variable of personal development and achievement and growth of any kind. And it's something that I think most people are resistant to. And that's one of the reasons why so many people really struggle, is because they're not open to this variable. What we tend to do is we're constantly searching for what to do. And I get it. You know, we want whatever it is that we want in our life. We want peace, we want happiness, we want more money, we want whatever it is that we're searching for. And naturally, we want to know how to get there, right? What we tend to do is we tend to focus on what? We tend to focus on what we need to do to make more money, what we need to do to manage our money, what we need to do to lose more weight, what we need to do to be healthier, what we need to do to have better relationships, whatever. And that makes total sense, right? We have a desire and we want to know the path to get to that desire. But the problem with that is essentially when we're going out and looking for what to do, what we're doing is borrowing recipes that have worked for other people. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that there are a bunch of recipes out there that have worked for other people. But what gets missed in the whole thing is the person looking for the recipe. I'll tell you how this thought evolved for me. It was about 1.5 years ago. I did a program called, I think it was called Weight Loss for Normal People. Pretty sure that was the title of it. Because I had this awareness, like everybody knows what to eat and how to exercise and all that stuff, but we're getting our input primarily from professional health influencers, professional bodybuilders, professional health coaches, right? Like these people, nothing wrong with them at all. They do this all day long. This is their thing. And so if people are doing something all day long and you're doing it in the middle of everything else you're doing all day long, well, there's a potential for disconnect there. So if you're doing health full-time and I'm doing health part-time, then I probably can't use your recipe of full-time health with all the time that you have to either exercise or to cook the meals or to engage online and to consume the information and all that stuff. It's not going to be the same way that I implement it in my life. Now, again, there's no judgment. It's just an awareness of this full-time recipe probably won't work for this part-time person. And so I just had this thought, like, what if we talk about normal people and how we do health? And that goes for everything, not health. So if any of you are health coaches, like this isn't designed to be judgmental. I mean, the same thing applies to me. I'm in personal development all day long. I think about these conversations all day long. And one of the things I'm constantly trying to be aware of with myself is to give people consumable meals, right? Because I'm in this literally like 24 hours a day. So it applies to me too. This isn't me like judging people or certain industries or whatever. But the point is, how does this apply to the individual person that doesn't live inside that recipe or doesn't live inside that circumstance? And one of the things I said as I was writing my sales letter for that program is most of us are focusing on the eating, and what we need to be focusing on is the eater. And then this huge awareness popped into my head. Oh my God, this is everything when it comes to personal development. So most of us are focusing on the behavior, and what we need to know is who's the behavior. I got a little chart behind me here, right? So we've been talking a little bit about circles, and I did one of the videos with a clock, and imagine this is your 360 view of life. And these are just some of the areas that a lot of people are focusing on in life. There's more, but you know, we want to know how to do relationships, and we want to know how to have better sex or more meaningful sex, and we want to know how to do sales, and We want to know what the right thing to do is in religion or spirituality and business and money. We want to know how to do all these things better because we want these areas to be improved so our experience of life is improved, essentially, right? But here's the problem with that. This is not where life is lived. Life is not lived on the outer ring of your life. Life is lived right here because this is where you are. So instead of trying to learn how to do relationships, I need to know who are you in your relationships and how do you want your relationships to feed you. You want to learn about money? I need to know who's the you. Who are you? What does money mean to you? How much money do you need? What's your relationship to money? Because if I just gave you, or if anybody gave you the way to have $1 million tomorrow and you're afraid of money, then that actually does you a disservice because you don't have the relationship to even enjoy that money. So this is the most important variable. Who are you? In other words, this is the behavior, what to do. This is the behavior, who's doing the what. And the behavior is really all that matters. When we look at the recipes, who's doing the eating. We've all been to a restaurant. Some of you have been servers at a restaurant or a bartender. You don't go up and say, here's how to get drunk or here's how to eat a meal. You say, what would you like? And if the person says, what do you suggest today? The best servers are going to go, who are you? You know, they might not say it in those words, but what do you like? What are you looking for? Are you looking for something light? Are you looking for something heavy? Are you looking for a celebration? Are you looking for something sweet? Like, who are you? Tell me who's doing the eating and I'll make a suggestion. What most of us are doing is we're searching for the rules of human behavior. We're searching for the rules of self-development, the rules of self-growth, which is a gigantic mistake. We need to know what the laws are and then apply the laws to the behavior. This is why most people really struggle in their self-development because they're trying to put themselves into the one-size-fits-all approaches. And if the assembly line wasn't built with you in mind, then the assembly line will not provide your biggest breakthrough. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have suggestions, that you can't learn from other people's recipes. Yeah, but you have to be in the mix. I heard this from a good friend of mine, and I wish I would have said it, but I use it almost like it's mine. It's not about finding the blueprint, it's about finding the you-print. Most of us are not taking ourselves into account, and so we're looking for the blueprint that hopefully I will fit into, rather than the you-print that starts with who I am. I mean, think about it. If you're looking for your complementary puzzle piece, let's say you're focused on relationships. If you're looking for your complementary puzzle piece, how can you find a complementary puzzle piece unless you know what your piece looks like, unless you know what your piece really is? Until you know who you are, I'm going to say it's impossible to find the complementary piece. And let's keep this in relationships for a second, because I think a lot of people can resonate with this. If you don't know who you are and you're showing up as a not version of you, some different version of your authentic self, then it's almost like you're putting forward a puzzle piece that's not the real piece. So if you find a match to the piece that's not you, what are the chances that the piece that matches the not version of you is also going to match the real version of you? That goes with business. It goes with partnerships, friendships of any kind. It goes with anything. It goes with where you want to live, right? If you don't know who you are and what you enjoy in life, then how are you going to really, truly decide where the best place is for you to live? So it's about understanding who you are. Now, why do most of us not want to do that? Because that's where all of our discomfort is. All of our deepest pains and limiting beliefs are in the you. They're in the conversation with self. Think of our deepest limiting beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not smart, I can't make money. It's all in the I, the letter I, which becomes the organ I, E-Y-E. It's all in the I that we have so much discomfort around. And so if the discomfort is in self, the last place most of us want to look is in self, is inward. But if you try to avoid yourself for your whole life, basically, and then just try to come up with ways to do all these other things without you in them, the absolute best outcome of that, in my opinion, is a muted life. It won't have the flavors. It can't. It can't have the rich experiences if you're not in there. So you've got to be willing to understand who this human is in order to learn how to make this human happy. You've got to be willing to understand who the behavior is. Instead of looking at what to do, I want to know who's doing the what. And then here's the thing. This is not anti how-to information. It's just let's get it right. So then you can find the how-to information, but it's actually going to land for you. Now, if you don't take you into account, here's the other problem with this. The very act of constantly looking for the rules is a perpetuation of the problem. If you have a belief that says, I'm not good enough to succeed, and what you're doing is looking for all the rules of life, that's actually perpetuating the problem. You're continuing the story that you're not even good enough to consider in the solution. And there's a lot of settling in that. There's a lot of people that just say, okay, I'm not going to take myself into account, but this is what made somebody else happy, so let me just fit my life into whatever amount of my true happiness I can find in their recipe. And then what that causes is for us to just settle for what's available to us. Like we always just get the leftovers of other people's recipes rather than taking our own taste into account and creating our own recipe. Now, this isn't easy to do on our own. It isn't easy to do with our own perspective, which is why we need mentors, which is why we need coaches, which is why we need other outside perspectives to see what's in our blind spots. Because in our human journey, we're all doing this, myself included. I've been coaching for 15 years and I cannot coach myself. It's impossible for me to coach myself because I can't see the blind spots. I can't see the things that my brain is hiding from me. My brain is hiding them from me on purpose. I can't see them if it's hiding them from me. So that's why I need my own coaches. That's why I need other people's perspectives. And so many people wrestle with just the idea of needing help. I did a whole video on that a while ago. I'm not going to dive all the way into that. But needing help means you're human and it means your brain's working properly. It doesn't mean you're weak. And getting help. So there's a difference between needing help. Here's what I'm going to tell you. All of us need help. You and me and everybody on the planet. We all need help. But most of us will not receive help. Most of us will not allow help. But we all need help. So whether you need help or not to improve your life, that's not up for debate. The only question is your ego going to allow you to receive the help you need? That's the only question. That's the only variable. And the wrestling with the ego is where most people stay stuck. Or they'll try something, kind of toe dip into something. It doesn't completely change their life. And then they go, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. Coaching doesn't work for me. Therapy doesn't work for me. Counseling doesn't work for me. Diets don't work for me. The gym doesn't work for me. No, you're probably not working for them. That's probably what's happening. And it's not a matter of you working for them as much as it's you working for you. So there's nothing wrong with picking a puzzle piece up out of the pile and trying to fit it in and go, you know what, this puzzle piece doesn't fit me. But that doesn't mean you should throw away the rest of the pieces that are in the pile waiting for you to try those as well. If you are committed to finding the life and designing the life that you want to live, then you've got to be committed to picking up puzzle piece after puzzle piece after puzzle piece after puzzle piece. But you've got to do it with commitment. A lot of people will just pick up puzzle pieces and not really give their full commitment so that they can retain the story that it doesn't work for me, that I don't deserve health, relationships, great business, money, whatever. We have to be committed to us if we're going to make this thing work. And the beautiful thing about this is if you change your perspective here, then everything you see changes. And if you're committed to the you in the middle of this, then everything shifts. And here's the other thing. One of the videos I did recently, the essence of the video was desperation destroys discernment. So here's the thing that is really crucial to understand. The more desperate you are, the more you'll fall for the things that aren't meant for you. But the more you know yourself, the more you'll be able to see the things that are meant for you. But even more important than that, you'll be able to see the things that are not meant for you. My experience is it's more important to have boundaries and for you to be clear on what your hell no's are than it is for you to know what your hell yeses are. Because there's going to be more hell no's. But if you don't know who you are, then you can't know what the yes or what the no really is. So then what happens is you just fall for the temptations. You fall for, like in a business sense, you'll fall for the sales pitch rather than the content that's being sold. If you don't know who you are, you can't tell if this content is going to help you in your life. But if you can't discern, then all you're going to do is just be salivating at the mouth, and salespeople will sell you all day long. Narcissists will deceive you all day long. Liars will lie to you all day long. I said this in relationships one time, and it sounds kind of abrasive, but I mean it with all sincerity and a depth of sensitivity. In a relationship context especially, but this can go for everything, what so many people are doing is they're bleeding in the water and they're getting pissed that the sharks are coming. They're getting angry at all the sharks that are feeding off of them. They're getting angry that all the good people, the good men or the good women, are not being attracted to them. It's because there's blood in the water. So you can keep getting angry that the sharks are coming, and then you can try to make it your goal to determine who are the sharks and who are the dolphins, or you can stop bleeding. Because here's what I know. When you stop bleeding, the sharks will stop coming because they're attracted to the blood. And while you're bleeding, no dolphins will come because they're not attracted to the blood. So this is the self-awareness piece that most people don't like because they haven't had experience in the past of success, or it's just uncomfortable. What I'm here to tell you is that this is the variable that will change your entire life. Now, I hesitate sometimes. Like I have this conversation with myself almost every day. Dude, stop telling them what they really need because nobody's interested in what they need. They only want the hacks. They only want the quick fixes. They only want the shortcuts. And I mean, literally every single day, I'm like, do people even really care about what the actual answer is? And I know there are plenty of people that do. And here's the paradox, I think. When you turn into yourself and you confront, not confront like abrasive with anger or anything like that. You actually confront with love the patterns that you have, the layers that you've put on. When you confront with love and you rescue inside whatever needs to be rescued in you, when you look into the thing you've been looking away from your whole life, and if you're a human, you're doing this. Whatever intensity level, you're doing it because you're a human. So it doesn't mean you're dumb or idiotic or any of that sort of stuff. Again, I do this all the time. I teach it and I do it all the time. It's because I'm human. So this is a function of being human. This is the way the brain protects us from us. So you embrace with love, you confront with love, you reconcile, you heal, you transform, whatever. But it's an internal game. When we look inside, the first thing, our first reaction, again, if you're human, the first reaction will be something like this. It'll be something like that. It'll be that you look into a memory that you wished you didn't have, and it'll be like this. You look into the reality of something that happened in your childhood, and it'll be a wincing, and it'll be a turning away. You look at some of the things you've done in your life that maybe you're not so proud of, and the first thing you'll want to do is turn away. That's called human. That's called human. But this right here, the wincing and the desire to turn away, is what causes most people to go ahead and walk away. And then they're walking away from themselves. They just had the answer right in front of them. But because it was uncomfortable, The brain convinces us that discomfort is a warning sign to walk away from. What I need you to understand is discomfort is a welcome sign to walk into. So it's our relationship to the discomfort. Do we see it as a warning sign or do we see it as a welcome sign? If discomfort is a warning sign, all you can do is hide from yourself for the rest of your life. If discomfort is a welcome sign, then what you do is you lean into the discomfort. And here's the paradox. At the beginning, it will feel wrong. It will feel massively uncomfortable. It will feel like you're doing the wrong thing to keep looking at it or to keep feeling it or to embrace it. It will feel like you should be going the other way because that's the way we've been programmed. But if you lean in, if you just embrace whatever needs to be embraced, then the process becomes easier. Again, here's the paradox. What feels easier in the beginning is to wince and walk away. That's what feels easiest in the beginning. But then as that becomes the pattern, life becomes hard. What seems harder in the beginning is to still wince but walk into. And then life becomes a lot easier because you're in control. So essentially that's what your choice is. Do you want to be controlled by the things that you don't want to look at? Or do you want to look at the things so you can control them? That's the paradox. What seems like it's easy in the beginning turns into a pattern of hard forever. What seems like it's hard in the beginning turns into a pattern of control and responsibility. I'm not going to put the word easy on it because it's not emotionally easy, but it's control, it's responsibility. Here's the cool thing. It's rich. It's rich. That's where life's riches live. Once you get used to leaning into the welcome signs, then walking away is what feels wrong. So here's my point. Nothing in personal development is emotionally easy in my experience, but it's all worth it. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what are you more committed to in life? If you're more committed to experiencing life while you're alive, you cannot do that on the outer edges. You cannot do that by running from the warning signs. That's not where the experience of life is. That's where the denial of life is. That's where the facade of life is, yeah. But the experience of life is in the middle of you. That's where the experience is. And if you're more committed to the experience of life rather than the expectations of your intellect, all the outer ring, if you're more committed to the experience of life, well, then you have to go you have to go into the room where the experience is. And that brings us back to behavior versus behavior. So if you really want to get a control and be less controlled by other people and other things, turn inward. Don't keep looking outward for the things that you're hoping will make your life meaningful, because all the meaning is only here in the center. That's where all the meaning is. Now, I'm not saying that you can't live a rich life in all of these other areas as well. You can absolutely do that, but it's got to be an inside-out process, not an outside-in process. If you think it's an outside-in process, that attracting more money and having better sex and having better relationships according to the rules and following all the rules in any of the other areas of life are going to give you more meaning at the inside, I've never talked to a human at all that will say that's the way. Not one. You can get there, but it's got to be inside out. And then life can be so rich. Life can be so meaningful. And for me, life can slow down. I don't know about you. I imagine this is true for any of you if you're still listening to this. I'm not in a hurry to check out of here. I'm not in a hurry to die. This body in this carnation, whatever your beliefs are, I only get one of these. And I'm not in a hurry for this one to end. But if you live your life trying to get away from here, the present moment, over to there, the future moment, because there is going to be better than here, and that's how you constantly live your life, then how much are you even in any present moment. And that's where all of our experiences live, in the present moment, not in future moments. So my experience in this journey over the last 15 plus years is that life feels like, once I kind of settled in and sat down a little bit, it feels like it has slowed down. It feels like, and here's why. Because I'm getting more out of every single moment. I'm not getting more moments. And I'm not getting out of every single moment like I used to. I'm getting more out of every single moment. So I feel more fulfilled with every single moment. And that's why life seems to have slowed. There must be something about me and the word slown. That's why life has slowed down for me. And even though almost nobody is looking for that, that's what is most meaningful to everybody that has this journey. Whatever it is you want in life, it's possible, but we must start with you. And if I were to give you the blueprint for a business, if I were to give you this one-size-fits-all guarantee thing that works for anybody, anywhere, anytime, selling anything or doing anything, it would be so massively irresponsible of me to tell you that I know what will work for you when I don't know you. But the reason that message is continually perpetuated out there, and the reason we keep buying those messages, whether it's financially or just energetically and spiritually, is because we don't know ourselves enough to know that that's not our answer. And until we know ourselves enough, we can't know our answer. And even if the real answer is given to us, it can't work because we don't know ourselves enough to embrace and implement and experience the actual answer that we've been looking for. So how many people are not ready for the relationship that they've always been looking for, and the person that's the perfect complement for them comes along, but because they're not ready, then the right one walks away because that dolphin is not attracted to the bleeding. So the message is whatever you want is possible, and you've got to be willing to look at the behavior, you, more so than focusing on the behavior, which are the rules. Hopefully this has landed for you, and hopefully it creates hope. That's what I want it to create, is hope that it's possible. It's absolutely possible if you're willing to do what most people are not willing to do. It's just as simple as that. And it's not an ability question, it's a permission question. It's not, do you have the ability to heal whatever wounds you have and to experience life the way you want? It's not an ability question. It's, are you willing to do what is required to heal whatever wounds you got to heal and experience life the way you want to experience it? It's all possible. Most people are not willing.
Now, if you like this video, check out that video where we talk about transformational life coaching from the inside out.
I mean, if you want to be a coach and you want to be have a successful coaching business, then you have to understand a very important piece about business. You can't out-market a bad product.